Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Troy Cable is the leader in smart home security, giving you solutions to monitor, protect, and automate your home. Troy Cable Security keeps your property safe with 24/7 professional monitoring and emergency response. Control thermostats and lighting remotely, which allow options for saving energy and money. Control access to your home remotely with integrated controls for door locks. You can even add our smart home cameras, which allow you to see what you care about instantly. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Oh, my goodness. Woo. When I was a young man, about 13, 14, my Granny Maybelle heard this song one day, wanted me to learn it for her and sing it for her. I've been singing it ever since. It goes like this. In my life I've struggled, and I've often known bitter tears. Riches have eluded through all my 39 years. Forgive me, Lord, some sweet day in heaven, when life down here is no more. Me and Denise got married when we were 12, baby. He's promised me a mansion over on that peaceful shore. Here's what I want you to know in Prestonsburg tonight, listen. You're all invited to my mansion down here. I've never had much, but I
all these blessings in Jesus' name.
Maybe.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show that all commissioners are present. Approving of the February 26th meeting minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Barron, second by Commissioner Wright. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approving of claims.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Johnson.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Copeland. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Engineers report.
Mr. Chairman, the only item we had requiring action tonight is under personnel. We had the 2 requests for advertising.
So we need a motion for personnel for advertising for engineers.
We got 2. Do we need to take action on them one at a time, or?
One at a time. Yeah.
Start with the mechanic position.
Who you got, Russ? Is that the position that you're advertising for?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Be a mechanic 2 and assistant road and bridge superintendent.
Okay.
Chairman, I put that in motion.
Motion by Commissioner Barron. Second by Commissioner Wright. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And the second one?
Okay, that one's for the mechanic. The second one is assistant road and bridge superintendent.
Okay. We need a motion for that.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we allow Russell to advertise in-house to replace the position vacated by Dwight Sand.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Copeland.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to just remind you on that topic that This will leave another vacancy, of course. We'll be back to you, and then that will probably, down the line, it'll be a chain reaction like we've already mentioned to you before. But, and also we're expecting to have some additional turnover this year. So just as a heads up, we'll be back to you several times with personnel, a lot more so than usual.
Okay. Thank you, Russell. EMA, anything to add? Okay. Attorney's report?
No report.
Any commissioner have a report on anything?
I got one thing.
Go ahead.
There's a bill in the House, I think it'll be on the floor tomorrow, that I was made aware of and we're kind of working on, but to change some of the simplified seller's use tax, which is the tax that's collected on internet sales. So when you have an internet sale that's in direct competition with a brick and mortar, say I'm buying shoes off the internet, and this program it doesn't put the brick and mortar on the exact level playing field because of the level of taxes in some cases, but it does keep it as equal. Well, it's equal now as it can be. The problem with the bill is there's a chance that one of the biggest payers into it is going to be exempted out or asked out. So we need to, that's roughly, so over the last 10 months, Pike County's collected about $115,000 in tax through that. 50 to 80% of that tax is from the vendor that is possibly going to be out of that. So it would definitely hit us and hurt us pretty bad. But it would also go back to putting some of our brick and mortars not on a level playing field. So I'll send you guys some more information, but we may need to reach out on that one and talk with Representative Booth and Senator Holly and make sure we try to keep our local businesses on as much of a level playing field as we can. And that's it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, administrative report.
Mr. Chairman, from our work session, we have 3 items on the administrative report that we request the commission consider suspending the rules to vote on. It'd be item number 1 on your agenda. The request by the NAACP to use the courthouse on April 30th. And then item number 3, the Child Abuse Awareness Proclamation. And then we have an item, I'm numbering it 6, which is the E911 board appointment.
So we can go ahead and make one motion to suspend the rules for all 3, then we'll vote on them separately.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, seconded by Commissioner Barron. We have roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Okay. And now we'll need a motion for the NAACP to use the courthouse on April 30th. Motion by Commissioner Wright.
Second.
From where? Second by Commissioner Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Then a request for Child Abuse Awareness Month for April.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Copeland, seconded by Commissioner Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And finally, Mr. Chairman, it'd be the E911 board appointment, Mr. Buck Williams.
We need a motion for that.
Make a motion to suspend the rules to appoint Deputy Buck Williams to the E911 board.
Okay. So the motion now is to appoint Buck Williams to the board. By Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Barron. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Huh? We already did that. He was making a motion to appoint. Motion carried.
All right, Mr. Chairman. If it pleases the commission, then I think the only remaining items that could possibly come forward in the current business would be item number 5 and 6 under current business. If the commission chooses to address those at this time.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I make a motion that we appoint Mackenzie Wilson, the temporary county administrator, beginning March 22nd and until we have a permanent administrator that we've named or hired.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Copeland, seconded by Commissioner Johnson.
question.
All right.
In our new agenda package that we approved back a couple of years ago, that this is the first time this being read on the agenda. In our agenda, it had to be read twice before it could be voted upon.
This is the second time. It was read on the last meeting's agenda.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. I made the motion to advertise, not personally. Now, I know that. I made the advertise for an administrator, not to do that.
The county administrator's been on it's on the agenda.
I'm the one who put it on there.
Question.
All right.
Let me finish mine.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you were through.
Let me finish mine. And when we changed our agenda, we said one reading, and then the next meeting that you'll vote upon. That's in our agenda pack. That's our new agenda pack that will be read this thing. So now this is the first reading. This is the first reading of it. Now you can go back and search the minutes and where we did it. It'll show you that.
Go ahead.
All right, so I pose this question to both of you guys, and any of y'all help me remember, make sure I'm right here. Every time we put personnel on our agenda, we are putting it on to advertise. We have to fill positions, and we put it on there in such a way, like this one was, because we don't know if we're brought somebody, we don't know the name typically till the week of the meeting that we put them on. The reason we put personnel on the agenda and we keep it there is so that we can do exactly what we've just done. And when the time is right to act on that, whether it be in a temporary manner or a permanent manner, it's on there and it meets our internal rules that we can act on it. So next meeting, if Russell brings back somebody for the personnel that he's got on there, we don't have to read the name aloud twice for that to meet our criteria for our agenda. That's what we've done for 18 months, and the year that I was, or 2 years that I sat out there and listened. If I'm wrong about that, y'all please correct me. But that meets the criteria that we have done for personnel as long as I've known this criteria.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
I think Mr. Copeland is wrong because I'm the one that had the agenda changed to effect that. And we all voted on it for the change. And this is the first reading of this item.
You're saying it's the first reading that we've had Mackenzie's name in?
It's the first reading of personnel for the administrator on the current minutes.
Oh, well, that's easy to figure out. Then all we got to do is look at the agenda for last week, last meeting.
Last meeting was for...
It was on the agenda last meeting because he did put it on there.
The last meeting was for advertising.
It was
for personnel.
It just is under new business, personnel county administrator on the last.
It
was on new business the last meeting, and it's under current
Says the same thing this time that it said last time.
It was under new business, under my name for advertising for and resume for advertising for a commission.
What it said was personnel county administrator. What it says now on current business
but you can't
is personnel county administrator.
You can't do two of those things at once like that. You can't do this.
We're not doing two things.
We're not doing two things.
Y'all working your own rules. You're making up your own rules. You're going against the agenda package. What is wrong with y'all?
We doing what the law says we can do under the agenda package.
You don't know what the law says. You're wrong, Robert.
Okay.
You're wrong.
Well, that's your opinion.
I know you're wrong. Pull the agenda and go back and search it. It'll show you that.
We got an agenda, don't we?
It'll show you that. It'll show you that.
It'll say personnel
I'm
county
the one that
administrator.
called in to put the personnel for an administrator on, and it came under county commission report.
And it rolled up the current business, county admission, personnel county administrator. Same thing.
No, you voted on it. You voted to advertise. That came completely off the agenda. Once you voted on it and put it on, that came completely off the agenda.
No, it didn't.
Because you made the motion to advertise for, resumes and stuff. That came up. You voted on that in the last agenda.
I just looked at the last agenda that was on there. It was on in the County Commissioner's report. And we thank Commissioner Harris for putting that on the agenda so we can act on it tonight. And I've got a motion on the table.
Have a second.
Roll call vote.
You put in your own rules.
Why don't we just roll it over and to the next meeting, and then we go from there? And then it's nonsense of all of this back and forth. Then they go, nothing, roll it over. Let's just roll it over, move on to the next time.
If it saves arguments, let's move it over and roll it on.
What are we gonna do?
So we got 4 days that we're not gonna have an acting administrator because
You don't have to have one.
because you asked me last time to respect your time, please respect mine.
Okay, yeah.
We're gonna have 4 days with no acting administrator because we have one commissioner who doesn't want it to happen, and through threatening of rule violations and everything else, he's trying to scare us away from taking a vote. We've got our attorney who has told us that we're fine under the handbook. I just pulled up an agenda and everybody has agreed that it was on the agenda last week. So if we want to push this over to the next meeting for a reason other than just appeasing a commissioner who's worried that the vote's not going to go his way, I'm fine with that. But that's not a valid reason not to act on what Pike County needs. That's why there's 6 of us. There's 6 of us so that one person doesn't bully and try to threaten so that we don't do things that need to happen for Pike County. Now, there's a motion and a second.
Let's have a roll call.
Let's have a roll call
Mr.
vote.
Chairman,
Roll call
Mr.
vote.
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm gonna get this straight. I'm the one that put the personnel to hire, to advertise for a county administrator. It wasn't on the agenda to put an interim on that. It wasn't on that agenda. We voted on the last agenda. All you gotta do is go pull the agenda.
What the agenda says is personnel,
Wait a minute, hold
county
on.
administrator.
Let me finish. It had, and in the agenda says, in first time reading of current business, will roll over until it get the second reading. That's what it says. Now, if you all gonna sit here and violate your own rules, make up your own rules, and then this is another thing I don't appreciate. Chad, I don't appreciate you saying I'm trying to bully anybody. Don't ever do that anymore. Don't ever do that anymore. Because I'm not bullying you. I'm just stating you what the rule says. Okay? I'm just stating you what the rule. So if you want to do what y'all want to do and violate the code of the county commission and the personnel handbook, go ahead and do it.
Here's the copy of the agenda that says personnel.
Robert, you can't prove.
It's right
Personnel, county administrator.
It's a county administrator to hire to.
On this agenda, it says personnel, county administrator, and we fix the vote.
Mr. Harris, could you go pull the last minute, what was wrote up in the minutes?
They're right in front
You got them right there.
Mr. Commissioner. That's the minutes you just approved just a few minutes ago.
I'm talking about what was said in that, what was said.
There it is. Turn the first page over. Look on the back. 3/4 of the way down.
It says, Pike County Commission Charlie Harris made a motion to advertise for an administrator. Advertise for an administrator. Position of the month of March through 2018. Apply and send to resume to the attorney office. That's what it says. That is what it says. It ain't said nothing about no interim or any of that.
It doesn't have to.
Yes, it does.
No, it don't.
Yes, it does. You can't move it. You can't move something down you already not voted on.
We just
and
made
then change it to what you want it to be. You can't change it to what you want it to be. You know?
We just made a motion. Mr. Chairman, I have time. We just made a motion for Russell to advertise a job. Every time that we've done that, we've acted inside of that agenda item, and next week, it's still on there, and it will remain on there until we make a hire. That's the way we've done this every time.
And that's the
Mr.
same thing this is
Russell
here.
and Harry is exempt from, they can come straight out and do that under their report. That's the way the agenda's supposed to read. They can come straight out and do that under their report. But the commissioners came and said, we have to go on a current agenda and do it twice.
This is the second.
No, this is the first.
Okay, we've heard everybody's arguments.
That was advertising for.
We've heard all your arguments, and we appreciate those arguments, and now we're fixing to vote.
This is for interim. That was advertising for a position.
Okay, Commissioner District 1, how do you vote?
No.
What'd you vote?
Abstain.
Abstain. Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-1.
The county commission just violated their own personnel handbook.
No, we did not. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, the only remaining item on the agenda at this time is the NCIC inmate communication services for the jail.
We'll need a motion to adopt the NCIC communication system.
Yes. And
with
also,
a 30-day letter sent to the previous.
To the current provider.
Current provider.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's what we need a motion for.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Copeland.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Barron. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes the business of the commission at this time. The next meeting will be March 26, 2018.
Closing comments, Commissioner Wright. Mr. Barron. Mr.
No,
Copeland.
other than Harry, again, one last opportunity to tell you, we really do appreciate you. Thank you for everything you've done for me since I've been a commissioner, and I'll miss you.
Commissioner Harris.
Mr. Chairman, I want the public to know that Pike County Commission violated their handbook, personnel handbook, last night. And we had things that shouldn't occur and voted upon the way the handbook reads. And it was forced at this table, 3-1 no vote and 2 abstained votes. And I hope the public can be able to see that the county commission is making their own rules by personnel handbook and their own agenda.
Is that all? Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Harry, thank you. You've been a guiding rod and a heck of an example for folks to follow. And I hope you enjoy your retirement. Thanks, sir.
Nothing else come before the commission at this time. We'll make a motion to adjourn. Motion by Commissioner Barron.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. We are adjourned by Robert's Rules.
Mr. Chairman, I know we're adjourned, but I'm going to, I think everybody's got this. I know that I believe all 6 commissioners, including Commissioner Johnson and Copeland, as I gave y'all a new commissioner packet, but it doesn't ever hurt to refresh and have a good debate and disagree. I mean, if everybody just rubber stamped and agreed on everything, you know, that's what would raise questions to me. But what Commissioner Harris is referring to, the agenda where the commission on September 23rd, 2013, adopted some modifications to the agenda and conduct of meetings, which we keep
Mackenzie keeps, I keep, but I think there's, and there one up under the, used to be one up under the,
There should be a Mississippi.
in there. But my point is, this that I'm holding in my hand, discusses agenda form and structure. Then the second one is what we are, administrator and engineer reports, how those items are handled about certain things, and when do you suspend the rules, when you don't, because there was some confusion about new items going under administrator's report, and it really needed to start out new business. And then third item, it talks about current business. And when does it, and that's why and then tie votes, which led to this whole thing, is how long and something stays on the agenda, and the whole idea is about openness and fairness on the agenda item, and voting on it, discussing it, when is it ready, how many times, all of these things that have come out tonight in, I think, good debate and discussion. Not everybody, y'all can agree and disagree. But what I lead up to, just as a refresher, I'm going to give each of you a copy so you don't have to hunt for it, and just review it, because I think it'd just be good to, because this is exactly on point on some things that came up tonight, and that's agenda. Which one of these categories do things go under? Revisiting, suspension of rules. Because the bottom line is, let's just assume for the sake of argument, and I take this up because I think it's important going forward, because you vote, you make your points, and then you try to move on to the next business item and do what you can. But let's assume for the sake of argument, Commissioner Harris is correct in the sense that that item, he was put on specifically for permanent, for advertising. Then really that the next part of that argument would be, well, that someone, another commissioner maybe should have had that stay on the agenda. Now, it stayed on the agenda because you're still doing the administrator. That's still an issue y'all are dealing with.
You just answered the question.
And it falls under personnel. I mean, it's under personnel. But now there's not I just want to make clear, there's not a personnel category that's there, sits there all the time so that things can happen. It has to go through this process. But always remember, assuming that was correct, and this is the first reading, and it's not to be nobody's wanting to abuse it. It's just the fact that the suspension of rules option would have been there tonight anyway. You could have suspended the rules and addressed it, even under Commissioner Harris' speech. So, in effect, you all have valid points, but going forward, you do need to try. I mean, I'm just saying to follow continuity, and I'm not saying it wasn't. I think it was, but there were good points it was. So I'm just going. You'll get this from me. Just read it. Is all I'm saying, and it's just a refresher. But I just wanted to get on the record as such that the item that comes up for the first reading, if you have a majority and you feel like you need to go forward, you can suspend the rules and could have acted regardless.
And Alan, another thing to add to your statement, when we adopted that policy, another thing was when a commissioner was out, that we wouldn't vote on a specific issue, if you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
We had that come up.
We did. Sure did.
And that's
what led to.
That's what led to. There were several things that led to it, but that was one of them, of just catching the commissioner out.
Was a tie vote, 3-3, and it sat on the agenda. We would have things sit there for 6 months.
That's right.
And then lo and behold, if somebody got sick or had to be out of town, suddenly you got a 3-2. I make a motion, we vote. Well, that, everybody, to the credit of that commission that was here on September 23rd, 2013, which was everybody that's here, including except Commissioner Goodson and Joey Jackson was here. I'm just saying that commission in 2013 decided we need to make sure we're not going to do something like that to each other. I mean, we're going to act in good faith. We may disagree and vote opposite, but we're going to follow that protocol. So that's what led to, well, let's just take a look at some of these other issues that come up on the agenda. And I think it's just would be a good exercise to read back through it. That's all I wanted to.
And that's my concern as well, is the person, on the personnel on the current business, I thought she had to have it on at 21. Good time.
All right, we're adjourned. I'm sorry. I'm not. That's the word that came into my mind. I agree with that. That's why I looked at it. I'm gonna write down. That's fine. I'm sorry. That's why I just left out the moment.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone